Thank you, Ashwin, and good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Tonight, I'm going to be giving a speech entitled Being a Protege. This is a speech for the level 2 activities on Basecamp. Back in my 20s, I was a little bit lost my first couple years in college. And I was fortunate enough to have a couple of really cool internships in Boston in the summer, however. And in the evenings, I liked to go and practice martial art taekwondo around the corner from Fenway Park to spend my time. And it turned out to be a fantastic networking opportunity because all sorts of people went there to practice, I found out. And amongst them was this guy who was very much like a comic book hero. And I was really into comic books at that point in my life because of the art and the stories and everything. And so this guy, who I'm going to call B for his first name to give him some anonymity, he had a PhD in chemistry, an MD degree, and he used to have a really cool car, a sports car, until he sold it and bought a several $1,000 titanium bike to help him win triathlons and stuff. And I didn't realize that that B was going to become my mentor because at that point I was really just into sports, and that was kind of like our connection. And I really didn't know what it took to become the next level of athlete. I was sort of just like, okay, I'll eat my Raisin Bran and my Wheaties and, run 6 miles. And, Brian B was really a high level competitor. And so it just made me realize that it was possible to achieve that next level. There's 3 basic ideas about being a protege that I reflected on when I wrote this speech about being a protege. And the first one is that you need to reach out for guidance. And I realized that, in a sense, my mentor in Boston reached out to me at first, but then I was very fortunate that initiated the dialogue that we had, because I felt very insecure in academia. And the whole idea of publication or writing books or just doing academic work was a big leap for me from high school. And B had actually published and was in the growth stage of his publication career. Now he has like business books and science books and all sorts of interesting things. And so I realized that I reached out to ask questions about, life and everything. And it was very helpful. The second point was that you need to be responsible for your own growth. And I feel like I was really pushed to do that in our exchanges, because in the summer, we would see each other quite a lot along with everybody else in the club. And so then I would go back to Southern California after being in Boston in the summer, and I would really need to live out these plans that I had set for myself, which were at that time to complete an anthropology degree. And that was very self-directed. And so I felt like our dialogue really facilitated that process, because I could ask B for feedback, but then most of the time I would need to do the nitty-gritty planning myself. The third point about being a protege is that sharing goals with your mentor is important. And this is not only in terms of things you want to accomplish, but if you can share goals in terms of the larger picture of your career, I think it's really helpful. And given that I've now known B for about, God, can't believe it's almost been like 20 or 25 years. I realized that having the ability to change your goals over time, or if your goals and your mentor's goals are able to be congruent but also change over time, it allows you to maintain a relationship for a long time. Because at first, uh, the dialogue we had was more about sports. And then we lost track of each other for many years. And when I was teaching English in South Korea and applying to medical schools, we really began to discuss our goals more, or my goals more. And B was a very good person to bounce ideas off of, because the way that he talked about them was never really like, you should do this or you should do that. It was more of questioning, and this, not even the Socratic method, but a way of developing and becoming, or seeing different avenues of possibility. And I realized that as time has gone on, that is a really important goal that both of us do share, trying to kind of navigate change and new things. And so I feel very lucky to have met someone like B and known them for so many years. And it kind of comes full circle to that sort of comic book character that initially made me so curious about this person who was unfortunately like 20 years older than myself. Well, fortunately and unfortunately, I guess. But I really respect this my mentor, because he is kind of like this comic book character where he really wants to help people. Doctors get a lot of criticism about, being motivated by different things, but I really feel happy to have met this person who, wakes up and goes running at 5 in the morning and bikes everywhere and lives this kind of life where now he does a lot of legal work to improve different product experiences, I guess, and copyright and patents. That's my protege experience. I talked about 3 different aspects of the protege experience. The first was to reach out to your mentor for guidance. The second was to be responsible for your own growth. And the third was to share your goals. Thank you.